Hey everyone, Colorwind here, and welcome to another edition of My Gaming Landscape. This is going to be covering the period of September 30th, 2019 to October 6th, 2019. So Monday to Sunday. Good, easy week. Alright, on this episode we're going to be talking about a Mortal Kombat 11, MediEvil short-lived demo, Bloodstained Ritual of the Night, Castlevania Lords of Shadow, Street Fighter 3 Third Strike Online, Prey, Demon Souls, and Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney. Alright, let's start off with Mortal Kombat 11. So I played a little bit of this game early in the week just because I wanted to check out some of the new variation stuff that they just introduced. The third variation specifically. And I haven't been playing the game much with the tournament settings to begin with, but I did want to... But part of the reason for that was because I didn't find the first two variations for characters to be very fun. A lot of the abilities that each character had were locked away behind making a custom variation for yourself. So that's what I've been mostly doing. So I checked out a few of the third variation and stuff, and they seem to be a bit more aimed towards being more enjoyable. And from what I've been seeing online, maybe not as balanced. But I think that's a good thing, because at the end of the day, you play fighting games, and especially games in general, to be enjoyable. I understand that they want to have a balanced lineup for competitive play, but that's what nerfs and buffs are for, specifically buffs. I'm always of the mind that if you want something to be level, you just boost something else in order to make it level with the whatever it is that's currently overpowered. Other than that, I also dipped my toe into the competitive league. I have not been messing with that at all, but it's it's just online. It's just whatever. I might go back and do some matches, maybe a few matches every day, just so I can get to the Frost skin stuff that's on there, since she's my main and they're finally offering something for my main. But I don't know, it doesn't really grab me. Moving on, let's go to MediEvil. This footage that's going to be up on the screen right now is actually going to be from my stream that I did of the game, so you're getting here on YouTube something a little early, because I do not have any footage of me playing the game afterwards. And part of the reason why is because I finished the demo on screen. This thing is so short. It is way too short, as a matter of fact. I don't understand how Sony thought that anyone could get any kind of grasp of this game with a demo that's... God, I don't know. My record time is about 40 minutes, but it is not that long. I would say the first 10 minutes of it was like me going through like watching the opening cutscene and checking out the options and just loading the game in general. And then the rest of the game was like 30 minutes. And then of that 30 minutes, about another 10 minutes or so was the tutorial. So it's just a little helpful thing. It's not a lot of time. All I did was kind of wander around the graveyard, and that was about it. There were some enemies there. I messed around with the combat, which feels really, really basic and not very impactful. And some basic platforming, I guess. I don't know. I am not excited about the game whatsoever, but at the same time, I also feel like I didn't play enough of the game to even really get a feel of what it is I'm going to be doing. Because from all intents and purposes, it seems like the graveyard is kind of like a hub area. So they didn't even really give you a level per se, I don't think. Maybe I'm wrong about that, but that first graveyard felt like a hub. I don't know, moving on. At that same stream, I also played for the first time Bloodstained Ritual of the Night. This game came out earlier in the year, and I'm just now getting around to it because Gamefly just finally sent it to me. As a result, it was a part of my Rented Games live show that I have for games that I rent from Gamefly, or anywhere else for that matter. I have some footage here up of me playing the game afterwards. Just kind of going back at where I had been before, just to make sure I didn't miss anything. It's a Metroidvania, and I am personally not super crazy about the Castlevania side of Metroidvanias. I've only played Symphony of the Night, and I don't think that game is particularly amazing. I enjoy it, I like it, but I don't think it's amazing the way that everyone else does. This game is pretty fun though. Anyone who saw the stream will know that for some reason I kept passing out, and I don't know why I was doing that. I don't know, me and my sleeping problems. But that being stated, I really enjoyed my time with it. I like the I can't remember what it's actually called, but it's the crystal system where Miriam gets embedded with a piece of gem or crystal, or some sort of shard, and she gains powers as ability as a result of that. And from what I can tell, it seems like she just gains them from random enemies at random. Like, it doesn't matter how many times she attacks a certain enemy, it will just at random, I keep saying random, give her the ability. And it seems like you can get these abilities from any enemy, not just special ones. Walking around and everything, exploring, it's a Castlevania, so if you played any Castlevania, you know what you're going to be getting yourself into. But the characters and everything look pretty good. Game runs okay. It seems like it freezes every single time I get one of those shards that I was talking about. But other than that, it looks very well made. It also is a pretty game, which I'm a little surprised at, as part of the reason why I've actually never played any of the Castlevania Metroidvania games, with the exception of Symphony of the Night, is because I don't like the art style of these games. They're always these small little sprite things that never get updated and always look really dated as hell. And that's a shame, because this game is gorgeous. I wonder why someone didn't update the sprites in the Castlevania game sooner. Probably because of Konami, but I'm just putting it out there. I'm hoping to pick this game up if the money from my upcoming check is enough, and it should be. So hopefully I'll be able to pick this game up. Next is a few games I'm going to be going through really quickly because they're part of something that I'm doing research for. I'm going to be doing an article about PlayStation Now, so I got a free trial of the service, and I am checking through a few games. And I will also say that the next gaming landscape will be a continuation of this, as I'm still testing it. However, for now, I have 3 games that I was using to test: Castlevania Lords of Shadow, Street Fighter 3 Third Strike Online, and Prey. So we have 2 PS3 games and 1 PS4 game. Castlevania Lords of Shadow I chose because it's an action game and you need to be able to have a lot of quick reflexes, as well as, you know, impressive visuals. That was sort of a mistake on my part, because I forgot, since I'm not that familiar with Lords of Shadow. I think the only time I played it was on a PC once, so it was the PC version, the best looking version. And the PlayStation 3 version, at least on the PlayStation Now, does not look great. However, I have gone over to the Xbox 360 version, which I actually forgot I had, and it doesn't look great on there either. So Castlevania Lords of Shadow is not a great looking game to begin with. But even on PlayStation Now, it does look rather pixelated. And although I do feel a little bit of lag in the controls, it's not too bad. But it's sort of a bad game to test for something like this, just because you think it would be good. Action game, you know, impressive visuals, but not so much, because it didn't quite do what it was supposed to in the first place. I played a little bit of Street Fighter 3 Third Strike Online because I wanted to see if the controls would be good enough for a fighting game, and for the casual player, they are fine. For anyone who plays fighting games a lot like me, no. There is a noticeable, like, I would say 8 to 10 frames of lag from when you press the button to when it appears on screen. It's like button punch, right next to each other. I mean, butt punch. Maybe that quick. That's not good. You want that stuff to be instantaneous when you're playing fighting games. It's not happening. I also tried to go online with this, but I couldn't find anybody online, probably because they didn't want to hook up someone playing through PlayStation Now. So I will have to find another game to play online. Also, just for the record, Castlevania Lords of Shadow, boring game, do not recommend. And Street Fighter 3 Third Strike Online, honestly, it's one of the greatest fighting games ever made, and that has not changed. Finally, Prey. I was playing Prey through the service. Good morning, Morgan. And there was noticeable lag to the point that it just felt delayed. It did not feel good to play whatsoever. However, there is a feature on PlayStation Now that makes it different for PlayStation 4 games as opposed to PlayStation 3 games, and that is the ability to download the games onto your hard drive. This is something that everyone touts about Xbox Game Pass, and no one talks about that PlayStation Now actually has the same feature. It's just the only thing is that it's regulated to PlayStation 4. That's also because the PlayStation 4 is not backwards compatible. I feel that is a mistake.
You're absolutely fine.
But for what it's worth, you can do that with the PlayStation 4 and just download it. And I downloaded it, and once I done that, I tried to play the game, download it, and it played fine. It was just like as if you had bought it and downloaded it.
Listen carefully.
So, a little bit of heads up on my article. I'm probably going to be talking about how this is probably like a viable rental type of service where if there's a game, an old game, most likely because new games aren't really on this service. But if there are older games that you missed and you want to try out, PlayStation Now might be a good way to check that game out, because PlayStation 4 games on like GameFly, they're harder to find when they're older. This is pretty useful for that, because you can just download it onto your hard drive and then it plays just fine. I find a use for it. That's all I'm getting at. Next, let's talk about Demon Souls. I played a little bit of this as research for an article that I wrote, and I don't know if it'll be up by the time of this video, but it has been written already. And basically, I played it just to give me a refresher on Demon Souls. I'm familiar with the game. I had played the game before. And man, the game is just as hard as I remember it. It is the most difficult out of any of the Dark Souls games because these worlds are not necessarily connected. You have basically sections that you need to get through, and each one only has one quote-unquote bonfire. It's called an archstone, I believe, something like that, in this game. And you don't have like your Sunny D bottle. That's what I always call it. That you refill to gain health back that you drink from. The system is actually more along the lines of Bloodborne, where you have a finite amount of blood vials, or in this game, grass. There's different types of grass that you could eat that gives you slightly more health, a good amount of health, or all of your health. And you could run out of those. Just like in Bloodborne, you can run out of blood vials. So combine that with the fact that you don't really like find a whole bunch of bonfires or archstones along the way. With the reason of that being is that since you're only in one section in each game, this isn't per se open world the way that Dark Souls is. What you end up doing is walking around until you find some sort of way that sends you back to the beginning of the level, and that's your shortcut to make progress. It's just the same archstone / bonfire over and over again. It makes exploration a little predictable because you're like, oh, I already know where I'm going to end up. But it's also a lot more challenging for those who value that more. I do not. But I still enjoy the game because it still feels good to play, the controls and all that. And I would still say that the environments are still pretty, interesting. And there's a lot about Dark Souls that just copies what Demon Souls was doing. Like the first area is like, oh, okay, this is just Dark Souls 1 again. But played it, I wrote the article, probably won't be coming back to it because that's all it was for, but it's still fun. What I will be coming back to is the final game that I'm going to be talking about, which is Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney. Specifically the trilogy that I have on the PlayStation 4. By the way, all of the games that I've been playing this week have been on the PlayStation 4, including the PlayStation Now stuff. I've yet to try the PlayStation Now stuff on PC, which I will try to do this week. But anyway, Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney has been kind of like the game that I've been constantly coming back to and trying to get through. And I'm now on the 5th case of the first game. I'm probably going to stop playing after I'm done with the first game, just because I don't want to burn myself out. And that was actually interesting because this past week I finished case 4 and they gave me credits and everything. I'm like, oh, I'm done. I beat the game. All right. But nope. Because the DS version added an extra case, I now have to go through that extra case now. So that's what I'm doing. Haven't done a whole lot into it yet. I still need to get to the first court date. I don't know how many dates there are. There could be just the 1 or 2, but typically it goes all the way to 3 because of drama. And the game is fun. You know what? It's just so kickback and just chill that I think that's why I enjoy it and just keep coming back to it. With everything that I have to be doing for my work and everything that I need to be doing for just my own personal projects, it's nice to just kind of have a game where I just figure out stuff. To some extent, that's what video games are supposed to be doing, right? Just giving us a time, giving us an experience where we can relax. It's not always like that, but sometimes it's nice when it is. And that's everything that I've been playing for the past week. Now let's go through the games that I've picked up and added to my collection. Nothing but free stuff this past week. Specifically, it's been the 2 PlayStation Plus games. This week going up on the screen right now. MLB 19 The Show and The Last of Us Remastered. I've never liked The Last of Us Remastered, but now that I have it for free, I have no excuse to at least give it another shot. This time it'll be the PlayStation 4 version, which I've never played. I only played the original PlayStation 3 one. I still think the controls are going to be bad, but we'll see whenever I end up getting the time to popping this in my PlayStation 4. I also got a free copy of Grand Theft Auto San Andreas via Rockstar's new game launcher for the PC. This is my second copy of the PC version of San Andreas that I have, and I believe let me see, I only have San Andreas, I think, for the PlayStation 4 right now. That's weird. It's definitely more than that, but oh well, that's okay. Those are the 3 games that I picked up this week. And other than that, up on my blog, let's see. There's a whole bunch of links on there that are coming up from my past week or so of work for CBR. All that stuff will be up by the end of this week. I am now also making videos again. Please check my channel, youtube.com/Colorwind, and I am currently uploading my Super Mario World playthrough that I did a couple of years back, but I am now cutting it up into digestible YouTube style episodes that I normally do for non-stream episodes. I've decided to start doing this after I stopped doing it back in 2015, 2016, something like that. Back then, I got kind of overwhelmed from streaming all the time and then cutting up all the episodes and everything. And I thought it wasn't worth it, and I might as well preserve the streams the way that they were. I have now decided to start doing it just because of logistic reasons. People tend to not watch through the streams all the way through because they're too long. I am aware, however, that there are people who like it that way. So what I'm going to do is both. I'm going to do both. I'm going to first put up the episodes up, and then after all the episodes have gone up, I'll put up the full sessions of me streaming the games. And I'm going to be retroactively going back to games that I've streamed before in the past and whose VODs are up there, and cut them up into episodes so that it's more convenient for people who want to watch it that way. Everyone gets what they want. You have the option. Super Mario World's the very first one. The next one, who knows? Kind of been thinking about doing Onimusha since that was recent, and that's a short one. But we'll see. You never know. I will also begin streaming again on Twitch. I actually streamed this past week as well. I have that footage partially cut up. It's about halfway done. And one video should be coming up fairly soon, probably next week or the week after. I'm going to be trying my best to actually get those out a little bit quicker. This one didn't really work out that way because I was doing the Super Mario World videos, but the point is, though, is that especially with me now having to cut up these episodes of streams into multiple episodes, I will be having videos on my channel every single day. If things get too much, I might even start putting up 2 videos a day. But right now, it's 1 a day. And right now, you're looking at stuff like My Gaming Landscape and Super Mario World stuff, as well as the stream that's going to be that I just did, as well as the upcoming stream that I don't have a date for, but it's going to happen. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, that is My Gaming Landscape. Thank you so much for listening to this and looking at the footage that I recorded for you. As you can see, yes, I am doing these in video form again, because once again, I looked for some feedback on what to do with this series, and people just prefer to have this in video style. So I'm giving you what you want. I am trying to record as much footage of the games that I talk about as possible. I am not going to guarantee you that I'm going to be able to get footage for every single game, but I will try, especially if it's on the PlayStation 4, because it's nice and easy, because I can just save the share button, the share video that I can save from that. But I will try to record better quality stuff via my Elgato when I can. Thank you very much for listening, everybody. Please let me know what you've been playing and what other games that you have picked up for your collection in the comments down below. With that being said, peace and love, gamers and players. I'm screwing up this thing. Oh, I can't even. You know what? Peace and love, gamers and players. Colorwind out.